It says we are live. It says we are live. So let me check the book. Make sure we are official like a whistle.
I believe. I should have brought my iPad in there.
Looks like they got my little glass in there, man. So it looks like we official.
It just hit. It just hit. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's get this little I believe.
Oh. I read you something close to me. That is something you see through your you are watching. There's nothing to do but believe. Just believe.
Just believe, yeah. Enough to music. You're tuned in to Hits 107.3. No one knows hits like we do.
Joint so fresh, you gotta Shazam it.
Coming through loud and clear.
It's power 1, 2, jam.
It's all perspective. Represent you comes control. Respecting you don't know. Right around is what you chose. Perspective. It's just the point of view. The odds and the outcome based on how you move. It's all perspective. Represent you comes control. Respecting you don't know. Right around is what you chose. Perspective. It's just the point of view. The odds and the outcome based on how you move.
Kel, what'd he say? The odds and the outcome based on how you move. Not how they move, but how you move. Welcome to Perspective 217. We're back at it again. You know, we took a little short hiatus. You see, I had to go and let this gray come on in. I stopped painting that joker. You know what I mean? I've been painting for about 5 years, but them boys coming in. Kel still holding strong. You know, he just had a mighty fine birthday, so he old.
Yes, sir.
He old, but he don't look it, right? You know,
old and blessed, man.
Old and blessed, absolutely. So it's your boy P.
And it's your boy Kelz.
And we back in the building. We got a nice special guest today that's going to drop a lot of knowledge. And I really don't want to take up a lot of time with our intro. But Kel, give me a synopsis of how your weeks blend.
Man, it's been busy, man. You know, 2022, man, is here we are, man, 5 months into the year, bro. It seemed like just yesterday, man, we was celebrating the new year, man. So like I said, man, I was blessed enough to see my born day. I was blessed to have been gifted a trip out to OKC to visit my brother that y'all see next to me, man, and kicking with him out there and his wife and family, man. You know, beautiful birthday gift that was gifted to me. My shorty Red, appreciate you. But yeah, man, I mean, you know, life is what it is, man. You know, still here, man. You know, things are still popping up, man. We'll talk about all that stuff later on in the show, man. But you know, all in all, man, blessed to be here, 10 toes down, man. Let's keep this thing rolling.
Absolutely, man. So all I've been on, man, is planning for more trips, right? You know, I'm trying to spend as much time out of this country as I can. Yeah. Now, I don't want to leave the country. I don't want to move to these other countries.
Right.
But I want to go and visit a lot of them very often, right? Yeah. And you know, the way I look at it, man, you know, I've been working hard for a long time. You know, these grades and they just pop up, right? You know what I mean? Life been that way. Right. You know,
how you feeling? Real quick, bro. How you feeling now? Because you know, I know you and the wife took a trip during COVID. Y'all went cruising. You know what I'm saying? And now that we've kind of got, I wouldn't say we're back to the normalcy of things, but things have been kind of more open up. You know, if you're vaccinated, you got your your shots and everything, you know, that it's kind of opened up to those, man. But how are you feeling now that we're here, we're at this stage now compared to 2 years ago when we were on shutdown as far as traveling?
Well, you know, I actually feel good about it, right? I mean, the biggest, some of the things didn't change as far as, you know, people are still wearing masks. You know what I mean? When you go to these other countries, Cancun, you know, any of those places, Belize, in any of those other places outside of the U.S., they still requiring for you to wear a mask, right? So you still gotta handle that. You know, we went ahead and went through the vaccination, and that was our choice, right? You know what I mean? I ain't saying what everybody needs to do, but we decided to go ahead and get vaccinated and get boosted, right? And just you know, and I haven't grown a third ear yet. You know what I mean? I ain't grown my elbows, size, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I probably lost a little bit of weight, right? You know what I mean? I went through a little COVID, that COVID 20.
Yeah.
Right. It ain't that freshman 15, it's that COVID 20.
Yes, sir.
But so Kel, like we said earlier, we got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot to cover today. So who do we have joining us today?
Yeah, man. Listen, what I love, man, about this show, bro, is that, you know, through the you know, through life's journey, through your ups and downs, through your trials and tribulations, man, as a man, you know, as a grown ass man, you know, you meet people, man. You bump into people that, you know, for seasons, you bump into people, you know, maybe at the gas station or something, and then you bump into people, man, that you connect with, you know what I'm saying? And so now here, man, in this stages, in this stage in our lives, being grown ass men, you know, and when you see someone and reconnect with somebody, man, that when you was a young adult to now and seeing them doing great things, man, you always want to say, hey, bro, let's connect, man. And this was the perfect opportunity, man. So this brother right here, man, I met when I was a youngin'. You know, we were both young at that time and young adults. P, you remember meeting him as well. And we'll talk about it in detail moving up, man. But we definitely wanted to connect with this brother because he got a lot of great stuff that's going on to the youth and for those that, you know, that kind of found themselves, you know, in some tough situations, man. So I definitely want to bring our brother to the limelight here. Our brother Jeff Maxwell. You're gonna hear me call him Sauce because that's what I know him from. But brother Sauce, welcome to the Perspective 217 show.
Welcome.
Now get your real live claps, right? Yeah.
Right.
Welcome, my brother, Mr. Maxwell. That's how I'm gonna address you all day. Now I know you as that sauce, that mighty fine hot sauce. Like that's your tag, your label, your legacy, right? But right now we gonna call you Mr. Maxwell.
So Sauce, I'm gonna have to ask you real quick, man, off the cuff, man. So how did you get Hot Sauce the name, man?
Right, yeah. So we was a freshman in Carbondale. I want to say 92, and every time it's time to go to bed, I leave out the room and I got my cover with me. And my boy Brian Italiano, him and my roommate Scone used to be like, "Man, this dude hot, man. This hot." You know what I'm saying? And so they's always connected with some sexual type of, I don't know. So it was something given to me, thrown at me. They say I worked for it, I earned it, but that's actually happened. A lot of people thought it was because I eat a lot of hot sauce, and I do, but actually it was Italiano. He was throwing that label, throwing that tag on me, telling me I was hot. And he was referencing, connecting it with chicks. Unfortunately, yeah.
Hey, man, we're gonna have a great time. I'm telling you, man, this show is gonna be great, man. So all right, Sauce, we're gonna jump into this, man. So we're gonna run through this, man. And so first question, man, for all our viewers and listeners, man, that's on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff, and on StreamYard, man. So where's Jeff, aka Sauce Maxwell, from?
So I'm from Chicago, the Inglewood community, what we call the headquarters, because the significance of where I'm from speaks to all of the activity, the gang activity from Jeff Ford to David Barksdale, Shorty Jerome Freeman and Larry Hoover. So in that proximity where I live at, that's why it's considered the headquarters, because the original gangs that we know that everybody merchant on comes from that geography.
Inglewood. So Inglewood is back then, man, when we were shorties, in the early 90s, man, Inglewood had a very heavy ring to it. You know what I'm saying? If someone said they from Chicago, Inglewood is like, oh, okay, like it's for real. So how is Inglewood now compared to back then in the early 90s?
Well, it's really nothing different. Now looking back on it, it's still the headquarters for the national gangs, and it has that stigma. But also looking at the data, is one of the most disinvested communities in the whole entire world.
Interesting.
So coming up in Inglewood, what are some of the things that you encountered? I know you talked about the headquarters and it being disenfranchised. What are some of your experiences that you can explain to our?
So, I mean, normacy. We like everybody else. We little kids. We've been there our whole lives, playing in playgrounds, normal lives, going to grammar school. But I think the distinctability, because of the stigma that was connected with Inglewood, the time that we was born, and we had older guys that knew the history and automatically projected what we would be. So I recall being as early as 19 years old, what we call big homies. The older guys would be like, man, y'all gonna be High Supreme GDs. We like High Supreme gangsters. Not GDs, but y'all gonna be High Supreme gangsters. And we like, we don't understand what y'all talking about. But then they'd be like, we'd be playing in the playground on 67 and Green. And the old man, the chairman, he lived like 2 houses from where we was playing at. And so it'll always be this narrative about projection of what that neighborhood would be. All of us that play basketball and football, y'all playing basketball and football right now, but y'all gonna choose a side later. And that's pretty much, you experience poverty, the effects of poverty. My sister was like 34 years old when she died, out of control diabetic. Remember, my mama not even having the money to even if we had fiscal, even if we had literacy that evolved around health, what we should eat and what we shouldn't eat, it didn't matter because we didn't have the opportunity. We was gonna eat we gonna make this stuff happen. Sugar bread, circuit bread, and so just having a typical impoverished, only can go around certain neighborhoods, that type of childhood. No daddy around like everybody else.
Right. I want to follow with that too, bro. So you mentioned too, man, just kind of being in your environment, right? And the OG, so to speak, was telling you, hey, this is what you're gonna be. We're projecting this to be you because of this is your climate, this is your area.
Sure.
Now, I guess what in from your outlook now, back then, being that you were kind of the OGs kind of basically they guided you, they molded you one way or the other, whether that was for the good or the bad or the indifferent, where a lot of people now are kind of choosing, you see what I'm saying? And they're kind of choosing to kind of walk in that life. What was it for you back then, man? To kind of I guess when you got that push or that influence from the OGs that kind of led you into that lifestyle.
See, the times was unprecedented then. You got to understand, crack hit the city of Chicago real hard in the late 80s. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand the climate. And it was a purpose behind recruiting the army, because the only purpose to recruit the army was for the gangs to develop enough money. The more members you got, the more cocaine out on the streets. So now cocaine is not a sophisticated movement. You can't sell it on the streets. That's over. That's why the Grimes went from cocaine, and now they deal with pills, weed, cracking cards, and now those are even perishing. What we seeing more than anything is the carjacking, the hijacking, the strong arm robbery, and that's becoming the. So when you say choices, it's because who's going to turn down at 16 years old the opportunity to make $200 a week, stand on the corner, you already standing out there.
Right. Wow. Right. Just to be there.
All I have to do is be a part of this game. And this will come with it. Protection, all the stuff that come with it, it's attractive versus now you can do whatever you want to do because it ain't nothing to do really. And it's a lot that come with trying to be a drug dealer. It's a lot because now you got to have everything. You got to have heroin, you got to have crack, you got to have weed, you got to have pills. And you still, that black market still ain't going to produce you. The average guy on the streets making a $20 an hour with all of that product. He's still only, when the day over with, he made $20 an hour.
Right.
Because it ain't like that no more.
One of the things you just brought up was about the infrastructure, right? I mean, all the things that you spoke on were infrastructure pieces, right? You know, back then they brought more people into the organizations. You know,
Right.
people, you know, I'm calling them that right now, to generate more revenue, right? To feed and you know what I mean? It was, there was codes back then, because it was an infrastructure. Where now, we've been talking about them for Kelz, it's been what, 4 years now? You know, young renegades, right? They just have there's no code. There's no loyalty, that they don't stand on anything.
But that's bad design. But that's bad design though. So what the government did, they came in and they ripped that away because that was a potential, what they call the threat of the Black Messiah. That whole type of, when you got organized stuff, that's a potential. Anything organized is a potential movement. And so they can't, that possibility is a threat. So you get rid of all of the gangs. How you get rid of them? You giving them the stuff, the guns, you give them the guns, you give them the drugs, and then they traps. We call it the symptoms of 13, the 13th amendment. They traps. They staged to get rid of our people. And so it's a lot of things that's under the layers that many don't talk about, some scared to talk about, but it's out there. So only way we're gonna get free is if we bring this type of literacy to the table.
Right. You know, bro, this is so deep, man. Just you know, this whole conversation piece that we're on right now, right? Because if you look at the history of these organizations, right, the forefront of them founding these organizations was, for one, protection. For Black people. It was for to be self-sufficient in your own neighborhood. It was for to be able to, you know, have health care, you know, more or less provide for your community. And so once it got established and it was up and running and it was thriving and it was doing what its purpose was for its own community, then everything that you said got dropped into to our community. Changed everything. Changed everything. So you believe, well, we all believe here, man, that once the government basically stepped in, took out the heads, right? The leaders, because that's where the direction came from, right? Those brothers that you mentioned earlier, you know, that still to this day are incarcerated. Is that correct?
And they and illegally because their time is up.
Correct.
But for some reason they won't let them, the particulars, Jeff and Larry in particular, they won't let them because they still threaten. But what they believe is the voice that they threaten by. They know their bodies is not deteriorated over this time. But what they still studying, both of them. Neither one of them mentals have broke. None of their mentals have broke down. So they thought they'd be insane by now. And they not insane. They're looking at their letters. They listen to that conversation like, man, these guys, man, still organizers.
Absolutely. And understand this, man, you know, these are two very powerful, brilliant mind brothers, you know what I'm saying, that founded and created these organizations. You know what I'm saying? And if you take out the latter part of what is kind of transpired into, right? You know what I'm saying? They will be considered, you know, the CEOs, you know, of a Fortune 500 company at bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? Probably a billion or trillion.
Way better, way
bigger.
You know
so it interests me, man, because with everything that's going on when it comes to violence and crime, and when they throw a tag on everything, because of everything kind of spiraling out of control. Why wouldn't it be beneficial for these brothers who created and started this to allow them to come out so they can come back and right the wrongs?
Yeah, no, they won't do that because that's the theory. J. Edgar Hoover started the theory, the threat of the Black Messiah. What they didn't understand, and they still don't understand, is that started from the Genesis. It has always been. That's why they don't want us to know our DNA, who we really are. That's why they throw these tags on us. African American. How's I'm an African American? Wait, first, how's I'm American when you get me from over there? That's like saying I'm a black stone, but I was a black disciple just because I moved to another neighborhood. That's like telling an elephant he went to another state, now he a giraffe. So I ain't got nothing. I'm not nothing with American because you can get me from. It's where my DNA. So the whole issue with the powers that be is we can never let them know who they are. DNA. Because if they ever found that everybody else know who he is but us, that's why we in last. So they're gonna keep us in last. So in theory, they put these systems, we call them the symptoms of 13. They put these systems in place that they know what it's called projection. There's no such thing as a project. When the Europeans or the powers that be, the government, when they said projects, they don't mean project like us. We think a project mean a proof of concept. They don't mean that when they say that language. What they mean is we project it. They do projection. So they say, okay, literacy, when it come down to health, they'll say, oh, they eating doo-doo chips. Oh, build 5 more prisons. We know these kids is eating doo-doo chips. We study them. We know they can't do good academic wise.
Right.
They eat doo-doo chips. That's a health literacy issue. So now they're going to build more prisons. So it's a direct connection with education and incarceration. So all of these things they staged. We call them 13. That's what we call it. Our squad. That's 13. So the only solution gonna be is get rid of 13, because 13, the purpose of 13 is a pharaohic system that stays to keep the people there longer than what they're supposed to do. It's called an extended stay. And we don't even know because our leaders don't even know.
Right.
Our leaders too busy. Our leaders all then sold out already. Our leaders already been compromised. The ones that's out here, our church leaders been compromised, our aldermen, everybody. So ain't nobody got no voice. So what God got to do, he got to go to the grassroots. He got to grab guys like myself who slipped through the cracks.
Right.
And then I'm continually, every time I get press conferences, every time that I get the opportunity to be on TV, I'm letting them know it's no such thing as the head of the snake. So now don't come after me because thinking I'm the threat of the Black Messiah. It's not the threat of the Black Messiah, Kelz. It's the threat of the Black Messianic community.
Now I'm glad you said that, bro, because we want to kind of walk our people, our viewers, and our audience through this, because coming from Inglewood, right? You went to high school, right? You seen all this around you. You know what I'm saying? All the influences and the OGs and so forth. And so you came out of Inglewood and you wound up going to college, correct? Where
I went to Hershey. Well, so I come out of Inglewood, went to grammar school in Inglewood.
Okay.
So I played basketball in grammar school. I played basketball real good. So I was going to go to the high school down the street and play ball. The high school down the street was a general high school where everybody gonna go, not because you can't go nowhere else. Because again, 13, the curriculum was culturally biased. I couldn't go to a good high school because I never seen the material. I never seen the material. They never showed me the material. So I ended up was going to play basketball, but just by God's will, when I went to go sign up to go to Robeson, something was going on with their intake. And my mama been a spiritual woman her whole life. So that was a sign from her. He ain't going to graduate from here. He going to be gang banging with his buddies. He ain't going to graduate from here. Then she sent me to Hershey, which was hosted as 800 East. She sent me 800 West all the way over, thinking she was escaping me from gang stuff, really walking me into a worse situation. Because at Hershey wasn't just, at Robeson just BDs and GDs. At Hershey was Vice Lords, New Breeds, GDs. It was everything. Stone. So you walked me into a worse situation, but that was the narrative of me going to high school. But I went to high school to play ball. So I wasn't involved in, I'm from Alwyn Halstead. Don't nobody know me. So I was good in high school. I was looked at as a ball player until my other buddies who got kicked out of Robeson ended up transferring going to Hershey with me. And then that's when we found out it was Black disciples in Hershey. But before they came with their gang banging, stick talk, stick walking until they came. They messed the whole. They was almost gonna mess the move up for me. I was glad I was a senior back then.
So how did you navigate that? How did you navigate?
I navigated it because I used to tell them before they all transferred, don't come. I'm cool with doing them. Don't bring that nonsense to school, bro, because I'm about to graduate. Y'all ain't never about to graduate. Give me a chance. And I was protected by my big homies. And at the time, you also got to consider our authority. All of our big homies was pushing the narrative. You got to go to school.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. And
you got to go to school.
This next thing, right? So, Mr. Maxwell. so, all right. One of the things you just said, you kind of repeated it, what you spoke on earlier, is that the big homies were really big homies back then.
Yeah.
They weren't just saying, "Hey, come move this dope," right? If you a ball player, or if you got a potential to get out,
all hands off of him.
They supporting you.
All hands off of him.
You know what I mean, and they protecting you.
Yeah, all hands off.
And that's kind of what you just said for the listeners that are not street inclined. I don't want to say street inclined. Just that environment inclined, right? You know what I mean? That
the big homies gonna see something
are not as open to.
But yeah, so the big homies gonna see something in you they don't see in everybody else, and they gonna tell everybody else hands off of him. That's why it's always be, well, why Lil Jeff don't have to do this? Why Lil Jeff don't have to do that? Why Lil Jeff don't have to show up at the meeting? Why Lil Jeff don't get violated this way? Why this don't happen to him? And so they was basically telling them, even to this day, now looking back, hindsight, my big homies saying, this is why we protected you for this day. For right now, for this day, not even knowing when they threw Moses in the boat, not knowing the greatness and the capacity of what that seed, not knowing what it was gonna breed. It became what they did was worth $10 trillion.
Right.
They protected the right one. The system missed me, but the big homies had a better, what we call a prophetic eye. The third eye in hip hop, the prophetic eye. They saw something that the government should have saw, and now it's too late. Because we already about to change the whole system. We already coming at the 13. I'm in pursuit right now. We about to overtake, and we're gonna recover all as a people. Right.
Hey, thank God that the big homies were there, right? And they looked favorably upon you, right?
Yeah.
The Lord showed something, you know what I mean? Your mom was sending them prayers up, right? Yeah, and they were heard.
Yeah.
Right. So you graduated high school.
Yeah.
Right. And then you spoke earlier about Carbondale, right? Carbondale, Illinois. A lot of our listeners from all over, they don't necessarily know where actually Carbondale, Illinois is. The SIU, Carbondale, the Salukis. I was about to say fighting a lot. I was in Champaign too long. The Salukis, right? So you end up graduating high school and you went down to SIU from Chicago, which is about a 4.5, 5 hour, depending on where you're coming from, Chicago trip. Tell us a little bit about that transition.
So again, high school, schools being culturally biased. Hirsch was a metropolitan school, but was not a college prep school. Anybody can go there. The gang leaders that wasn't from Inglewood, all the other gang leaders was from the east side of Chicago. So you had the guys, the generals over all of the gangs. They all had some stock. They little brothers, they nephews, even them. They went to Hirsch. That school was a gangbanging school. That was a school known. It was so you wasn't getting no literacy. You wasn't getting no education. You're going to get some education in the hallway. That's where you're going to learn that. You're going to find out that's what the learning going.
You're going to learn the streets, yeah.
But I had a 17 on my ACT, so I can't go nowhere. So SIU at Carbondale was the only school. 2 schools was offering a special program, meaning they let you go to school for 5 years. Illinois State was offering that. SIU at Carbondale was offering that. Difference is Illinois State said you got to come there. They have a small window, and I missed that window. So now my mama saying you got to leave because you're gonna die if you stay in Chicago. You still hanging out on the streets.
That's coming from
half your buddies then died.
You got to go.
Half your buddies then died. Right. Now they coming over here beating you up. You got to go. So I ain't had no option but Carbondale. So I drove. Me and my mama, we got in the car and we made it. We talked to the lady at Financial Aid. She said we can get them in. Y'all got to drive down here. We was thinking it was gonna be like a Champagne drive. We look up, man, we still driving. It's 4 hours, we still driving. My mama like, boy, where this school at, boy? You sure when you pass it? You know, she ain't never been out the hood. You know, y'all know how this stuff go.
Right.
Yes,
I'm in prison. This is a new visitation, a vacation for my mama. And so when I get down here, I can tell she's safe. The people tell me financially, like, we can get him in this room. All he gonna do is get a student loan, but he good. And that was my mama like, man, thank God. So that's how I got the transition. I had the 17. I'll go to school for 5 years. I just go to summer school, but I still can graduate in 4.5, whatever's gonna be. But that's how I landed there. That's how I got in Carbondale. And I was just trying to get out. I couldn't. I wasn't gonna make it. I wasn't gonna make it.
Right. So, and I'm glad you said that. So this transition, man, saved your life.
Oh yeah, I was rescued.
Yeah,
and I went down there because I knew there was a lot of chicks down there. So I'm like, man, I'm about to go down here, man, and go crazy. It ain't nothing but, you know, I'm from Halsted. So in my man, I'm like, everybody down there goofies. I'm about to take Halsted down there, boy. I'm about to set my own culture down there, boy. I'm about to still do this stuff down there. So it was one of them things. It was liberating and kill two birds with one.
So when you touched down in Cedale, coming from the Chi, you said, you know, you envisioned there was a lot of goofies, right? Down on campus. And now moving from being, you know, more or less streets to now, you know, hey, I gotta get the classes, you know what I'm saying? I gotta get books, I gotta get registered, I gotta get in dorm life, you know what I'm saying? How did you feel about that, man?
It was a tough adjustment. Yeah. You know, a little kid, you know what I'm saying? I had a car. I did have a car. My cousin was there. My female cousin went to Herschel me. It's like I follow her educationally. So she escaped, got the Carbondale. So I knew I had her. And it was weird because here it is, the first time in my life. I'm 5 hours away from home. I'm by myself. Ain't no black disciples down here. So the gang stuff was out of my mind. I'm by myself. I got to make adjustments. And the adjustments I had to make was the first 3 weeks of school, I wasn't going to class. I'm sitting out, I'm kicking it.
Right.
I'm at the cafeteria kicking it, talking to the chicks, not knowing my mama not about to send me no money. I spent the rest of my money. So I call home, mom, send me some money. So like, this is the last time I'm sending money. No, you better get one of them jobs, whatever they call it, when you have to work after school. So it was a culture shock. Like, man, I can't talk to these girls. I talk to them when I can. I got to do homework. So it's a culture shock. But it took not even a month and a half when my mama told me, you're going to be back here after a month. It was about a month and a half, almost September. It was September, matter of fact. My mom said, but you ready to come back? And I was like, I can't go. And that's when I made my adjustments. And I tightened myself up on every level. Got me a job, going to school all the time. You know, holler at the chicks. I had them walk me to class, whatever. But I made it. I'm focused. And once I got focused, it was over with.
Now it's funny you say that, bro, because I remember a point in time, us crossing paths initially, you know what I'm saying, not knowing your plight, not knowing, you know, your everything that you had just mentioned. But we wound up crossing paths and meeting, man, on Ninth Street. Right. And for those who don't know, you know, Ninth Street is a location in Carbondale, man, where there was a lot of congregating, a lot of social meeting, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is way before, you know, Facebook and all that. We ain't have all that back then, man. I mean, it was in person, face to face, and it was really about the vernacular of your character, you know what I'm saying? Kind of how you handled yourself, you know what I'm saying? How you sold yourself. You know what I'm saying? How you presented yourself to people, man. And so what I did recognize was that, you know, you had a group, a brotherhood of people, you know what I'm saying? A clique, so to speak, man. Tell me a little bit about them brothers.
So that shows you how God stages things organically, because my roommate was a mafia insane from out west. I never had been out west. Didn't know nothing, never heard about no mafia, nothing. Because where I'm from, there's only 2 gangs for real. And so that was like, his name was Terry, you know, we call him T Stoney. So Stone was my roommate, and then he had his brother, which will come to find out wasn't even really his real brother, but we thought that Taliano Brian. So B and T, I started hanging with them, kicking with them. But my boy Otis, he was going to the parties. He lived across from us, and T, buddy named Duck, went to high school with him. So it was like 6 of us, and we'd go to the parties. And Otis and them used to be, the crews used to be there, take their shirts off and doing, they was rebels. That's how we got the name Lunatic, Tupac said only a lunatic will want to see a skull crush. So whatever rules they had down there in Carbondale, we broke them rules, boy. And we was with the smoke. We was some street dudes from different gangs, but we had love for each other and we had each other back. So they was doing stuff. They made their own stuff for frat. The Qs, they going through their line. Me, the girls, I didn't know nothing from Houston. I don't know nothing about no sorority. And I'm talking to the girls while they going around in their circles at the parties. Man, shorty, man, let me get that number right now. Shorty, I don't care about nothing. I don't know nothing. So we killed the rules. We was lunatics and nobody want the problems. We just was, and all of us had one thing in common. The chicks liked us. And we had problems from day one. They didn't like B&T because B&T, they come in. I was like discreet, kind of like y'all making these dudes not like y'all. So that was the narrative. Like everybody want to fight us. We down there, every group want to fight us. You know what I'm saying? But we wanted that. We invited the smoke. We weren't running from it. We knew we were some real street niggas. And we knew if we got on the phone, if I called any of my big homies, boy, that stuff, it was going to be a problem if I had to drive 5 hours down there. So we pushed that narrative like, man, y'all don't want these dudes to come down here, boy. They come down killing everybody. Because they knew Inglewood got 1,100 murders, and my squad, the Dog Pound, got 600 of them. So if you want this stuff, come on. So that's how organically we became a brotherhood. And that's the funny part. All them years, 30 years later, that's the same brotherhood. Strong brotherhood.
And what's so crazy, man, we're talking about the lunatics before the lunatics, before the whole Nelly situation.
For the rap.
These were the real lunatics, man. And I know them guys, man. Like, listen.
Breaking all the rules.
You know what I'm saying? Breaking all the rules, shirts off in the parties, man. Man, I've got so many stories, man, with these brothers, man, that we've had in the house, man, and at these parties, man. And Herm, Big Herm, we could probably be on this episode for 5 years, but my point is this though. This is real life. This is real stories. Nobody's making this stuff up, man. This is true spit right here, man. And the reason I want to talk about this, man, is because as a young black man. As young black men at that time, man, it was a vibe, man. You know what I'm saying? They weren't street dudes, you know what I'm saying? But they not only were the realest, you know what I'm saying? We partied, we had a good time, man. Yes, we met a lot of ladies, man, and all that, but didn't nobody want smoke, real talk, because they knew, man, hey, listen, if we affiliated with the ticks, man, ain't no problems, because the problem's gonna be settled right then and there.
And we set the climate of the imbalance at that school. And that was what the proof of concept was, what he was doing, God was doing. He was letting people know you can belong to different gang fractions, different neighborhoods, and be unified as a brotherhood. And that proof of concept, we set this. So there was no fights. There was no, because everybody that was in our squad knew somebody. So we kept the peace. And so one thing we know, it was always be peace. We ain't gonna be nobody fighting at none of our parties, never unheard of. And we brought more people, crowds out than the fraternities and sororities all the time. So, but we set that tone that everybody was important. The big fat girl, she got to get danced with. Somebody got to holler at her. We set the tone. Ain't nobody picking on nobody. If it's gonna be, we set that stage of equilibrium and balance, and not even understanding years from that, we will put that same proof of concept in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, Herm said nobody wanted Sauce to make that call, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem. And you know what? That credibility, because I never said I started the Lunatics. I never said that I was the most important person in the Lunatics. I was the face of the Lunatics because of my disposition, my welcoming, my getting on a microphone at the party, stopping the party saying, hey, these fat chicks gonna get danced with. Hey, it's gonna be a problem. Ain't nobody let dudes get in free, or it's gonna be a problem. So I dictated the flow because I seen injustice. I seen fraternities trying to strong arm. No, ain't nobody strong arm nothing. Because if you want a strong arm, I'm about to take your cold chick.
Yeah.
And she gonna go in front of you. This was, so it was like the leverage. We use the leverage to make sure everything was balanced. Mm-hmm. Because as far as I'm concerned, you can't come say you better than somebody else when 2 weeks ago you weren't even on the line. So let's everybody be cool and not hide behind no titles. And don't nobody exert authority, and let's all be mellow. And that's the stage that we set and kept it going, because when it was all said and done, I had the whole football team rocking with me. Because when it's what if it's gonna go down, everybody, Big Damon, we had everybody gonna roll. Whatever call up, man, because what we feeding them all of the food they want at the parties, all of the drugs, the drinks, everything free, nobody paying for nothing, and everybody can stay there, you can spend a night there. It's a family. This is school is a family. It's only 2,000 of us. It's 17,000 Europeans. If nothing we can do, let's be together.
Yeah. And the crazy part about that, man, was that, you know, these parties would be epic. And you see all these brothers, you know, it'd be no smoke, man. And then Monday morning, man, everybody walking around with backpacks and books in their hands, man.
Oh, yeah, it's time to go to school.
Time to go to school. You know what I'm saying? The most prolific thing I've ever seen, man. You know, in my lifetime, no doubt. So,
hey, so Sauce, I gotta change gears just a little bit, right? So, I see in your bio that you had a little forced vacation.
Yeah.
How long were you forced to be on vacation? And if you can speak about it or choose to speak about it, where were you forced to go on vacation?
Yeah, so like we just said, it was free everything. Somebody had to pay for it. Well, Wayne said he the boss, so he got to pay it. So it's free everything. You can't get high all day. You can't. Nobody ever been around me paid for anything. They never paid rent. Kelz will tell you, everybody leaving from the 25th to the 3rd. You know, a big hunter coming to see one person. One person. So it cost it. So drugs got to be, you know, I wasn't working yet. I was going to school. So selling drugs got me in a jam. And some type of lifestyle that I wanted to live, influenced still by my guys at home. Right. That mindset, bringing that to school, end up the federal government. But this is what people don't know. Kelz don't even know this. The day before I got locked up, I was at home, and Kelz know my buddy that in Rockford. We'd go to Rockford, take some trips. I was at home on my way to go to Rockford, and I had a visitation. This was late June of 1996. This is what people don't know, though. Mm-hmm. See, people think the people just came and got me. No, what led up to it, I was dry. What led up to it, I was feeling like unsatisfied. My boy D Strong, one time I was coming out the student center, D Strong, he catch me coming out. He's like, man, Sauce, he said, how I feel to have everything you want, have the chicks. And I was like, man, really, man, I'm void. Mm. I'm really not satisfied. I'm really hurting. And so I remember crying out to God, who I really didn't know. Mm. And then I remember coming home, about to go get my stuff. And I remember I got a visitation, and the Most High God spoke to me in the car. All of the windows was rolled up and the doors was locked. So I wasn't inviting them in, so I invited himself in. Mm. And I never told nobody that. And I remember him saying, you don't care about nobody but these drugs and these women's. And I said, I want a different life, but I don't know how. This is all I know. And he visited me, and I threw my hands in the air, and some tears came out my eyes. The next day, another 48. I was going to John Logan. The school never closed. The school was closed. Kelz know that part. The school was closed. Then one of my buddies called me and said he need me to run him somewhere. That I told him I wasn't going to run nowhere. I ain't even know I don't even know why he calling me, because he know the school was closed. Right. It was raining at Logan. They closed it, and that right then, another 48. The feds came and got me, and I was not arrested. I was rescued. My whole life was changed. I was never the same no more after that.
Mm. So tell us, bro. Operation Rescue comes about, right? You got to do a forced vacation.
Yeah, right? yeah. 4.5. Well, they gave me 5.5 years. I did close to 4 on that, because I got a 10 months off for the drug program. Mm-hmm.
So your life has changed, man, going from the man to a man now, you know what I'm saying, in a box. And as you're processing this thing, man, and kind of living a different style of life, you wind up getting a calling, right?
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about that, bro.
So I think what happened was, the first thing was, when I caught the case, that was one thing. The second thing is when the Fed said, well, we're going to give it 30 days, 30 to 45 days. We're going to see whether or not if we want to take it, if we want to touch it. We might not want to touch it. In that process, I had already knew my own self that I had just called out to God. So when I got bonded out, when I was bonded out during that time, my girl, well, the chick that was with me was anyway, she was saying stuff like, do you she started seeing the abnormalities, seeing me being not normal. And so she was like, man, you cool? I was like, man, I can't put my finger on it, but what if I beat this case or not? I'm about to go a different way.
Right.
I don't know how to say this to my guys. I don't know how to, because it's new, it's a culture shock. So what validated was when they superseded the case, I was standing on Wall Street at the phone talking to my girl, the girl I'm talking to her, and I seen the police pull up, and then my stomach, it was, they about to come get you. They superseded the case. And once they superseded the case, when I got to the bullpen in Williamson County in Marion, when I got to the bullpen, it was a dude standing in the bullpen. This was, my life never been the same after this, for real. It was a dude in the bullpen next to man, and he was, and I was wondering, he had like curls, he kept going back and forth, drinking water. I'm like, what's that dude? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He tweaking. You know, this one I'm thinking of my man. And he looked at me, and when he looked at me, the way he looked at me, kind of like, he looked back. And then he said, it's a lot of us in here. And when he said that, I'm saying, a lot of us, I'm saying, all the BDs upstairs, that's what's up. I'm about to go get the deck. Because I don't have an identity clue.
Right.
I'm clueless about who he's talking about. All I'm thinking is, he said, the guys up there, I'm about to go get him from Hosted. I get up there, when nobody up there but prophets. All prophets. And that's from that point, my life was up. It was over with. Wasn't no looking back. It was Christ or nothing. It was Christ or I holler at your sister and it was Christ or a goofball. It was Christ or I know you a nerd. It was a rap then, because I wasn't high.
Right.
I knew this was something. Come on, man. You couldn't make that stuff up. So from there, my whole life was intentional. When I went to prison, I read the Bible every day, all day. When nobody can tell me nothing there about no chicks. When nobody can tell me really nothing. I had money. So it was like I was so locked in and focused. I was eagle-eyed knowing I had a purpose. And so I just spent all my time in that word. Still the same person, made my mistakes. Wasn't never saying I was better than nobody, nothing. But I knew I had a distinct ability and I operated in that.
Mm-hmm. Now, Brother P, I'm glad you're back, man. You know, we have a pretty vast audience, man, that range from, 17 years old and up, man, and we talk a lot to the youth on the show, man, as far as, making the right decisions, what I'm saying? Trying to educate them, give them tips, give them life pointers, man. So, so they can try to have the best results, in life. Now we understand, man, we not no doctors on this panel, man. We just some black men that's lived enough life, man, and experienced some things and seen some things and dealt with some things, man, to try to give back or give a hand to the youth, man. I guess in your plot, man, of to this particular time that we're talking about now, man, what can you say to the youth, man, that you could have changed? Maybe some of your maneuvers at the time, man, that landed you there. But so everything that I went through was purpose for the youth. So what I found out is you find things in pieces. So what I found out was God had spoke to my mama in 96 before the Fed superseded the case, asking questions like, man, why Jeff? Why federal? And he said, man, it's an army I got in, man. This ain't got nothing to do with Jeff. This is about me and the devil, and I'm going to use him as one of the generals to galvanize an army. Just happened 2003. I started going to the jails doing Bible study all the time. I thought the adults were my army he was talking about. So I knew my mission was one thing on this earth, to leave a legacy, and that was to galvanize an army, to get an army. Finding out later, Numbers 14:29, my army was 20 and under. That's what we call it, the 20 and under initiative. Nobody over 20 got into the promised land. Everybody 20 and under. So I started spending my time. 2008, I started working at DCFS. But in 2006, I was doing Bible study at the Juvenile Detention Center, and the Lord had revealed to me Matthew 21. He said, the stones that the builders rejected, they the chief of the corner. So right then he let me know my army was the young people 20 and under. And at that time, I put all my time, money, and energy since then into the youth, because they are army. They are strength. They are everything. They gonna carry LeBron James mantles in the spiritual realm. They gonna lead us. They the Black Panthers. So because I know who they are. Right. They don't know who they are, and the people around them is like selling heroin to a crackhead. Mm-hmm. Wrong, that misdoses. Wrong. I know who these young men are, and they know I'm their leader. I know I'm their leader, and right now I'm in a position right now with the Chicago Peace Initiative.
I'm on a hunt on pursuit to get the monies, because you can't lead an army you can't feed, and the war got to be financed.
Absolutely. So
them the two pieces, them the two moving parts I got with my non-for-profit right now. I got a whole school where Larry Hoover graduated from, where my mama graduated from. The narrative is we about to birth another army, a new army of priests, because it's the soil that made him successful. Even though it went negative, it's the soil that's gonna make me successful.
So you touched on what we were about to go into, right? Your initiatives, right? As you eloquently explained, your target is you 20 and under, right? And a majority of these 20 and under have gang affiliations.
Sure.
Right? So can you give us a little bit more about this initiative and or the initiatives,
right?
That you spoke about, like the Chicago Peace Initiative.
Right. So we got the movement called From Chirac to Jerusalem, from a city of war to a city of peace. That's the vision. The end game is that this be a city of peace. So we got to deal with the precursors that's keeping it from being peaceful. One of the things that the data shows is that economic literacy, economic opportunity, where safety is high, economics is low. Where economics is low, safety is high. So this is why other cultures don't need security, because they all got money. People ain't messing up no money. Even in gang, even in the streets, if this set making a lot of money, the big homies gonna be like, the first person shoot anything gonna get shot. It's bad for business.
Right.
So what has happened with the Chicago Peace Initiative, From Chirac to Jerusalem, our purpose is to get the ones that's perpetrating the crimes and put them on God's count. So what I've been doing since 2003, I've been going to the jails. I go to the juvenile detention centers. I go everywhere and I tell people ain't no count. And I prove it to them. I tell them, man, ain't no count, boy, ain't no gang, boy, you a prophet. And I prove it to them that they're a prophet to where they can't be a boy and a girl. And they even say, man, you right. We call them prophetic indicators. Once I get in that realm with the rappers, that's all they doing. Every rapper, every chick talking about the third eye. Method been doing this since the 90s, Kelz.
Yeah.
It's the prophetic eye. It's inside our DNA. And that's what makes us a threat. So I come say, man, you ain't in no gang anyway, boy. Watch out. Now, you got to understand, I got all captive audiences. Gang ain't sending them no money. Gang ain't come to visit them. I'm sending them money. They faithful and loyal to their stomach. So I'll deal with the proof of concepts with DCFS. Now I'm about to stress this thing out citywide. We're about to go on a 40-day peace surge. We're going on a mass recruiting, grabbing all of the shorties, but only the ones that's violent, because they're the ones that's ready for war. And once I get them in the room with me, all that other stuff over with. That stuff dead. It's a wrap. See, because the only op that I'm teaching is the enemy, the devil, Lucifer, and I can show them where he at if they really want to get at him. I know where he be at. So what I'm doing is already successful. I'm putting steroids on what I'm doing. Can't nobody say, Lil Jeff can't take a dude that's in the streets in 3 days. He talking about some heat with God now. I do that. Like, that's pity pat for me. I go in any neighborhood in Chicago. Hey, man, ain't no count, man. Come on, y'all. All I need is the bread. All I need is the food. They gonna fuck. They don't care nothing about what gang. They don't care about none of it. They want to eat. That's why I got the streets got to eat, which is a whole nother different initiative. That's our voters registration campaign. And that come out of the Bible, Ruth chapter 1, when Yahweh decided he want to visit his people is with food. So this is going to wake the streets up, because I've been giving jobs out to the ex-offenders for the last 7 years. No drug screen, no background screen, and transportation. So I'm dealing with all of the elements that's keeping them from going to work. One, the first element, anybody that age ain't going to work, is because they've been gangbanging on Facebook. So they got to get private transportation. So I give them that. Then I know they still on the pill of smoking a rapper weed. I say it don't matter. Come on. Then I know you've been to jail 3 times. I say, come on. So I got the proof of concept. I just need now somebody to get behind, and we can make this thing systemic.
So, bro, you dropped a lot right there, man. You've dropped a lot. Not only are you in these streets, right? And when I say streets, I don't mean like, I'm talking about, bro. You were in these boxes, right?
Yeah.
You're going to DCFS.
Yeah.
And for anybody who knows anything about DCFS, we already know those youth, man, are definitely underrepresented.
Yeah.
It's usually overpopulated. They're usually undersourced.
Yeah.
there's usually underfunding.
Yeah.
There's so many negatives
Sure.
that should be positives when you talk about DCFS. And I'm not here to take shots at DCF. I'm just saying, you know, there's so many missing pieces, man, that needs to be put into place to make that entity great. And so you have taken a strategic approach to going and talking to the youth there, because, bro, that's the bottom. You see what I'm saying? It would be a different story, you know, if you were going to people's houses, you know, where after school programs, and, you know,
right.
Hey, I heard you messed up at school. No. You going to them where they're at the low. They might not have a house to live in. They might not have parents. They might not have guardians. You know, they might not have $1 in their pocket.
None of that.
But you're going to speak to them there.
That's the army.
So you've also gone to these jails.
Yeah.
With these men. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In a box. You sitting having a conversation one-on-one, man. I mean,
right.
that, bro. And then on top of that, then you got initiative. The streets got to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where you're trying to do something to put some kind of substance in these kids' stomachs, man. I mean, that's systemic all day.
That initiative is from 8 years old to 80 years old. I can show you immediately how you eat now and how you eat greater later. That system. See, all of these proof of concepts came from 20 years being out in the field. You can't come up with this type of stuff unless you actually been out. And most people who I'm in front of, they know that this is years worth of compiling data, compiling years and years, because it's putting 20 years worth of stuff in the eighth.
Mm-hmm. So it's
20 years worth of provable, impeccable, undisputable outcomes. Mm-hmm. Everybody that know me when I'm on the streets, I mean, that go little Jeff. He don't want to give you the jobs, no drug screen back, no background screen. Give him $50. He get you out the way. You ain't got no reason to go to jail once I meet you. Right. You got a reason to still be no gang, because if you got a problem with gang, I went to go visit gang for 10 years. So, hey, where you say you at? He say he gonna let you go. Hey, let me holler. Big homie, you told on your mama and your auntie. Big homie, he with me now. Now he gonna say, all right, little Jeff, why? He understand. I know the indivisible controls the visible. Mm-hmm. See, that's a whole nother different narrative of our people. Nothing is going to happen visibly without it being sanctioned invisibly. So I can't go. Remember when Snoop said I can't die because Boo Boo about to have my baby? Mm-hmm. Now this clown saying he can't go nowhere. How much more you think? I'm ghost, man. I don't even exist. So that's another thing. Man, you threatened by your life? No. Was Elijah the prophet? Was he threatened by his death? They said that they sending 50 people to come shoot shots at Elijah every time. They keep getting away. So the king like, hey, keep getting away. He said, clown, he in your ear. He got the prophetic eye. He in your bedroom while you talking bad about this man to your girl. Kelz know how this go. The girl come right back and tell me, so she's saying this, he's saying that. Mm-hmm. Then he's going to come around me and smoke with me. But buddy, your girl dropping. So I already know what's going on. So when you come to plot against me, God let me know, hey, dude, them coming tomorrow, but you ain't going to even be there. And I'm going to host it when they coming on green. So I can't go nowhere because I'm in front. Remember Matthew said, he said, my third eye should have saw it coming before it happened. Mm-hmm. He said he don't never answer. He said he don't answer them. He said when death calls, he good. He got called. He's trying to give y'all something, dog. I'm not going nowhere, bro. Until I build this army for the Most High, I ain't going nowhere.
So how does one help support, help you fund, man? How does one get involved, man, in these initiatives, man?
Man, so we got Kelz. It's so many different varieties, man. You're talking about this is a movement. So we galvanizing an army of young people under 20. So some of them can't be employed. So we doing what we call sustainable employment, meaning we get into the realm of product. Anytime you got a movement, you gotta have a product. Mm-hmm. So we choosing hair. So you got people out there. I'm a non-for-profit, 501c3 non-for-profit. I got the tax write-off. I'm Duns, Gad, Sam's, Duns, Gatta. I'm in place for everything. My paperwork legit. And so we asking people, man, take the write-off. Give us 100,000. We buy $100,000 for hair. You know what that do? You done employ 200 savages, 200 of our army members that know they can get rid of the hair because they got 3 of their sisters that buy the stuff already.
Right.
So they know so now what we call corporatizing the streets, monetizing the movement, and you're doing it all at once. So they can donate vans, buses, money, whatever they want. We got the website, ChicagoPeaceInitiative.org. We got Chicago Peace 33 Cash App. But mostly I try to get people to call me directly so they can not only be a funder, but they also can be somebody that invests in their time and energy, because our proof of concept gonna go from Chicago to every other. I'm about to go to Carbondale. I was just in Carbondale a few weeks ago. I'm about to tap into the factories in Carbondale in about 3 weeks, and then I'm going down there to do some street ministry and tell them the shorties, ain't none of y'all tough. Y'all all are telling y'all sister, and y'all better take one of these jobs, get on this van before I slap one of y'all. Because y'all ain't no tough around here. So we about to come.
What's that number, Sauce, that we put on the screen, man? So anybody can reach out to you. What's the number that
773 area code 236-4595. 773-236-4595.
And you've been pushing this, man, since 2003, right?
So yeah, if the momentum building up to this,
yes, sir.
From gaining the credibility, now we're actually about to take off at the end of the month. We got an operation Peace Surge 40 days. We're going in all in the disinvested communities, high gang infested, drug infested neighborhoods, and we're giving them, y'all about to take these jobs for this $16 an hour. Well, it's gonna be a problem. Move out the way. So we got to get them out the way.
How's the city responding to this, brother? Because I mean, this is the grassroots, man. This is what Chicago was. Because all you hear is, it's the gun violence, it's the gangs, but instead of trying to bring in the military force, they need to be tapping into brothers like you.
Yeah, but so that's the whole point.
Who's from the streets, who knows the streets? You know what I'm saying? In order to,
but see, they don't want to do that because that's gonna hurt the 26 in California. That's gonna hurt 13. You get it? So that's why you need private, you need philanthropy, you need them type of people to say, man, I see what dude doing, let me give him the money. Because the government, that's what we gonna pay him to. We ain't gonna have free labor no more. We gonna get him the tools to set his people free.
Right.
Yeah.
We need the John Browns of this world to step up. The Caucasian, the underground investors. This whoever control the underground, control the overground. The guys, the streets ready for it. The streets hungry. The crackhead said, and she ain't smoked crack in 6 weeks anyway, because she ain't work. Crackheads ain't gonna see crackheads versus dolphins. A crackhead just gonna do without it. He stole all the barbecue grills. The dolphin ain't gonna rob you and still hang around. Two different phenomena. So the crackhead is ready for revival. It's about to be awakening. We about to go from last to first economically, and it's gonna almost seem overnight. We don't need one person to make a phone call to say, make go $200,000. Is that a good lift? It's over with because we're gonna corporatize the streets. Now all the shorties doing all this crime, Chicago gonna be a peaceful state because all of the perpetrators now working with us.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, people, if you are anywhere within the reach of our voice, I feel like my pops about to give the benediction, right? If you are anywhere within the sound of my voice, man, reach out to this young brother, man. He's been grinding. He knows what our community needs. He knows if y'all tired of seeing on the news another 3 victims shot, 37 rounds, casings found at said location. If y'all tired of seeing that, reach out to this brother, Mr. Maxwell. Sauce, hot sauce for those, depending on what lane you coming from. Reach out to this brother, right? 773 236 4595, right? ChicagoPeaceInitiative.org. Reach out to this brother, absolutely. Right? He's doing something that most of y'all are scared to do.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna be 1,000, bro. A lot of the places that you have to go, I would be super uncomfortable going.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now I'm there to support when we ain't in there, but I ain't gonna be comfortable, bro. I mean, first off, I ain't from there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they gonna be looking at me like I'm that crooked toe, right? You know what I mean? When I walk up in that Joker. So it's a, you have something, the Lord put you in a position to where it wasn't easy, but he was building you in a manner in which a diamond is made from coal.
Right.
Support this brother, Kelz.
Yeah, man, battle tested, man. Sauce, man, hey, man, I'm proud of you, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of you, man. Whatever you need, man, from the Perspective 217, man, we're here. Please stay in touch with us, man. Whatever you got kicking off in the city, man, let me know. You know, I'm down the street from you, man. So, but whatever you need, bro, we here, man, because we need it. We need it, man. You know, it's people that talk about it, man. It's people that do it, man. You know, you are in the lion's den, man, right there with them shorties, man, and that's what they need, man. They don't need these folks coming in with these suits and ties, man, because they're gonna look at them like they squares,
right.
You know, like they goofies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You live that. You know what I'm saying? You from the streets, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that relatability, bro, is gonna be instant. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got a home here, man. Perspective217, man, to get your initiatives out, man, and whatever you got coming up, man, keep us locked in, man. You know, so whatever you got that's coming down the pipe, man, the schedule, let us know, man, so we can get it out there. You know, for those who are listening, you know, tap in with my people, man. Tap in with my people. You know, ChicagoPeaceInitiative.org. You know, streets got to eat. You know, definitely hit that cell phone number up. You know, this is a recorded session, man. So we'll re-air it, and once you see it and hear it, tap in with them. You know what I'm saying? His brother's trying to do some things that most people are scared to do. You know, and he's willing to sacrifice everything for this. So, like I said, bro, I'm proud of you, man. You know, thank you for taking the time to come sit down with us, man, because I know you're a busy man. I know, you know, you're taking care of them babies and them kids, man. So, you know, very honored and appreciative, man, that you was able to come in and rock with us today, bro.
That's what's up, man. And blessings to y'all, man, even for the platform, man. And our people, man, been last too long. And it's the time. It's all time. And it's time for us to be first. Why not us?
Absolutely.
Why not us?
Pete.
Well, hey, it's man, got me over here. My eyes watering there, sauce. Doggone it. Hey, been a wonderful episode. So I greatly appreciate you coming on. Like Kelz said, man, it's been a long time since I've seen you, right? You know what I mean? A long time. But there's so much that's changed in you, man, and I can see in your eyes the passion that you have for this movement, right? I mean, this is so much grander and larger than just one individual, right? This is for everybody, and I can see it and feel it, right? And I know our listeners can see it and feel it as well. I mean, we had a lot of laughs in this episode, right? Because it was a funny. We lost them. There was some funny episodes that there's funny stuff that transpired earlier in this episode, but you know, he's gone now, but he'll mess around and come back on us at some point. But Kel, we're gonna go ahead, man, and close this joker out, man. It's been a wonderful episode, man. I appreciate you you know, taking time away from your family as well, man. I mean, you know, this we put this together for our people,
right?
But we got lives that we got to work around as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So,
but episodes like this, bro, make it worthwhile, man. You know, to be able to give the people, man, you know what I'm saying, you know, that element, man, that they don't hear. You know what I'm saying? They see it, you know, maybe on the big screen, you know, or blip down on the bottom of the screen, man, but to hear it, the raw, you know what I'm saying, the uncut, I mean, hey, that's life, bro. That's life, man. And so, but yeah, man, great episode today, brother. Great episode, man.
Absolutely. Y'all, this has been Perspective217, and we out.